Here I am today with Doc Voice, who is the world's leading vocal coach. And he has just been, he's one of the people that's responsible for Sam Smith, who, as you may well know, he's the singer out of the Bond movie. He has won, I was looking at his stuff the other day, mate, and I was like, you've won Grammys, you've won Brits, and he's just winning everything at the moment. So, first of all, tell me about how did Sam come into your life?
I was approached by a record company who was looking for a voice coach for him because he had a great voice, you know. I'd like to make people clear about this, that I'm not a singing teacher. You can learn to sing, and people can sing,
yeah.
But it's not about singing. It's about developing the voice as an instrument, which is a different ball game. So when Sam came to me, the record company said, "Look, he's got a great voice, but can you do something else with him? Can you?" So what I went ahead to do was what we call texture the voice.
Yeah.
So if you hear a saxophone playing, and you hear a flute playing, and you hear a saxophone playing, and other instruments playing at the same time, several instruments playing at the same time,
yeah.
You can't tell what that instrument is. You think it's another instrument just being invented. And that's what I do with the voice. I listen, and that's what I did with Sam. You couldn't tell whether he was black, white, whether he was a girl or a boy, because and that captures the imagination of someone. Well, I've never heard that voice before. It's unusual. It's textured.
Yeah.
And so you've got 64 muscles in your larynx. You've got a hell of a lot of resonating chambers in your body that we don't know or have never used. If you look at a baby, it screams 64 muscles out. And you can't sleep. You can't do a thing when a baby's screaming, because every muscle and the voice of that child is massive, and that's the thing. We've shut that down as human beings. We've shut our own self-expression down, and the way we talk, and the way we are, in every given moment. We're always got this self-consciousness thing that comes up, because we're not free. We're not like a baby who's free. Mm. If you look at all of us as human beings, we have shut down, and we keep shutting down. The advent of text and emails, and we become less tactile. And the voice is a very powerful force, a very powerful energy in you. And I've been working with voices for 35 years.
Can I do something for one moment, please?
Yeah.
One of the principles for success is adjusting things, and it's totally my fault. I'm just going to move that down. We're ready to go.
Start again.
No, crack on. Yeah.
So the voice to me is, I couldn't sing to save my life.
Yeah.
I had no voice. I sounded like Bob Dylan's grandmother. Don't. I hope people haven't got their albums. But basically, terrible voice. Couldn't sing in pitch, couldn't hear notes. And it was this that put me on the journey to learn to sing and try and find out, why can't I sing? My brother could. He was in Jesus Christ Superstar, Hair. He was managed by Robert Stigwood. He did very well. Yeah. I had no idea about the voice. So when I'd sing, I'd go, and it would be a horrible noise.
That's like me in the shower.
I didn't want to say anything. But it's true, because even how you talk, and I'm listening to you talk, when I listen to someone talk, I can tell what's happened to you in your life, based on your tones.
Crack on then, tell me what's happened to me.
Oh, that's
another whole other story.
Another hour. But basically, your voice is the echo of who you really are. It's a soundtrack to your life. So it's really there, telling you so much about yourself and people.
That's very interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's a very powerful force. Well, come on, ask yourself this question, and I beg people to do this. Ask yourself this question: would you say, when you're a baby and you're screaming, right, and you're born, first thing you did is you took a breath. Second thing you did was your voice, and for 1 year, all you lived off was your breath and your voice. Mm. So here's a question. Is a baby being its true, authentic self? Is a baby being who it really is?
Well, I suppose it is, isn't it?
Because there's no reasoning, there's no logic, there's no self-consciousness, nothing's going on, except two things, the breath and the voice. Mm. So guess what? We've disconnected from our breath and our voice, and we're not being as authentic and as real as we can be as human beings. Until you wake your voice up, until you wake the energy of your persona up, your charisma, which is natural in every human being, until that is awoken, you will be filtered through self-consciousness. You'll be filtered through, oh, I'm not sure I should say that, oh, I don't want to do this, and all this rubbish. So what I do, I remove those blocks. That's what I did with Sam Smith. He had a lot of mental blocks about fame. Could he make it? Is he going to get there?
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I always believed that he was going to be massive. It's funny. You just had a sense. And I've got someone at the moment, Georgia Chandler, who's on my books now, young girl, 17. She's my next Sam Smith. Yeah. And when you hear her tones, it's like, whoa, hang on, wait a minute. It stops the room. And it's because I've been working with her for 7 years. So we've textured her voice and got it to a pinnacle, to a place where she's now painting colours with this amazing voice of hers, which is what Sam's doing now. And the world is recognising that.
Now, Doc, I know that you've been incredibly busy and you're very much in demand with people, and so I really appreciate your time. And you've been using your voice a lot lately, but when I came in, you were doing a little bit of a voice session. Now, can you do just a quick one with me, just like even if it's 30 seconds or a minute, tell me, do this, Mark, do that. Now, I know Welsh people are supposed to be good with their voice and stuff like that. I am the exception to the rule, people. I really am. So sorry, Wales, about this. So take me through something.
One of your issues you have, I hear it in your voice now when you speak, you are only focusing through the top end, the head and the face and the pharynx. If you can hear it, talks like that. And he's even making those noises.
Yeah.
So that is a space he's going to, which is up here in an area. Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's other areas. You've got the chest voice, you've got below the chest voice, which is what we call vocal fry. That's deeper than any sound you can make in the body.
Are you going to bring me through? Am I going to...
That's it. Do it again. That's it. Now that's your vocal fry. Now that builds more mass in the vocal cords. It gives it more vibration than any exercise you can do in singing. It's very powerful, but it's also dangerous. You can't keep doing it. You can only do it sparingly until there builds up an experience of knowing how to do it. So when you go, and then you take that into the chest voice, you see, you have no chest voice.
No, I'm breaking up a bit there, aren't I?
Yeah, because what you're doing, you're fighting yourself. You're fighting, and this is what you've been doing in your life, I'm afraid. You're fighting yourself. You've been fighting the head and the nasal areas is not being accessible to you. So when you try to put your chest voice on that, this is chest voice. That's it. Now it's more there. Now, what have you done? Can you see what you just did?
My body language just changed.
What did he do that was so natural? This is what I teach when I'm in. Is to open your natural sound beam. You've got a sound beam in you. It goes up the centre of your body. So if I went like this, right, you feel that? Now it's still a bit throaty. Make it more relaxed. Go. That's it. Now go. There. Can you feel that in your chest?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
now, at the moment, you are what I call someone that's going to have problems because you're pushing and trying too hard.
Right.
And that's probably something
you just relax.
Yeah,
just
that's
like...
what you probably do too much of in your life. You've got to.
I do try.
Yeah,
I do try. Yeah.
Too hard, and trying fails. Where singing's concerned, trying
we're
fails.
singing, right? Yeah.
Trying in most things. When you try too hard, right, you fail. Awareness cures. Trying fails. If you're trying to find your TV keys, where's the keys? You won't find them. The moment you stop trying, there they are on the television set. So trying fails.
It's a negative word as well.
Yeah,
try. I'll try this.
You know someone's not going to do it if they say they're going to try and do it.
I'm going to try to run a mile tonight.
No,
come on now, people. Just do it.
That's right. So trying fails. So when you're trying to do that, don't try. You open up and go, just do it again. You can all do this. Everybody can do this at home.
Come on, bring it in with me now.
Relax. Don't go up there. You see, come on, bring it in with me now. And then you go back down in there. No, stay down here. Go, come on, bring it in with me now. Yeah, now you're going to a different space. This is his chest voice. Now if you go, relax, relax it. That's better. A bit more breath on it and relax.
And
yeah, and I. Yeah, now you see there's a warmer sound coming from you. Can you feel that? And that's more sincere.
Just check out the hands are just going like that, and I'm like, shit, man, what's happening to my hands? They're just going like that.
Yeah, naturally, because your body language is attaching itself to a different area in your body. You've never bothered to wake up. And most people are like this. Most people are bored. Some people are on it and talk on it all the time. And they think they're going to stay down there forever. And guess what? They will, unless they realise their body can be utilised. And that's what they don't do.
You utilise your body.
I think the camera went off.
That's all right. We've got the main one there anyway.
So basically, that's what I do, is explore people's voices. I mean, I've had CEOs of companies, all sorts of people who want to truly get to grips of who you really are.
Yeah.
When you want to know who you really are, and it's a good question, who are you? Now, you're going to think up stuff. I'm watching your brain already. You're thinking, I'm so-and-so, I do this, I do that. You've got a name for it. These are titles. That's not who you are.
No, I didn't even think that. I think that, I mean, for my own personal thing, I think it's beyond the label. You're talking about, you can go into stuff that's beyond the normal labels of, oh, you're a
yeah, but you can
trainer.
describe it. So who are you?
Who am I? I just am. It's hard to, I think for me it's hard to put things into words. I don't label myself, I'm this or that, or I'm titled with this, or I've achieved that. None of that is particularly relevant to me. And when I talk to people, it's like, Mark, how do you talk to people as successful? You know, I see everybody as the same, whether, you know, as a... So with me, why I can do what I can do is because it doesn't matter if you're the queen or if you're a sweeping the roads or whatever. I see people as the same. That's how I see people. So I don't see people by titles as much.
What you're describing to me is that you try to practice unconditional love and don't have judgment on others. Now that is the beautiful place to be from a mental point of view. But in terms of your persona, of who you really are, inside, you are something that exists inside. I want you to stop for a second, and you can do this at home. I want you to put your hand up like this, and just look ahead of yourself. Don't look at the hand, just look somewhere else, and just see in your peripheral vision, your hand is floating there. Can you see that in your peripheral vision? Now, take some breaths in, a nice deep breath. As you do this, now as you take the breath in and you let the air out, can you sense that that hand could be mine?
Yes. I mean, I believe your spirit anyway.
So, you are something sitting behind these eyes looking out. You are not this body, and you're not this mind. You are something else. Yeah. Well, that's what the voice is married to. They're married. The breath and the voice are married. In your brain, you've got the cerebral cortex here. You've got these little sausages.
Yeah.
And each sausage says, I'm touching the right side of my face. Oh, I'm touching the left side of my face. The sausage is a neurotransmitter, motor neurons. It's telling you what you're doing with your body every second. That's what it does in those sausages. Did you know there's no sausage for the voice? And there's no sausage for the diaphragm or breath?
I did not know that there was no sausage.
So you are naturally, autonomously breathing and making sound. So what happens when you start making that a conscious event in your life? You start to become more of who you really are. And you start to deepen in the experience of your true self. And that's what I teach. I teach it through the singing. People don't see it. I go in the back door of their mind. Yeah. They have a singing lesson with me. I see they've opened up their sound bee. I see they've opened up their spirit. I see they've opened up this area there and opened that up. And they can't see it. They just feel they're singing brilliant and they can't believe why. Because why? Because they've just attuned to the natural part in them, which is nature itself, which vibrates at a very high frequency.
Yes. I was watching a video a minute ago, and yourself and Sam Smith, you were being interviewed about him. You said Sam's a knight, he's down to it. How important is it to be humble? Humility. How important do you think?
For me, personally, I would always like to think it's important for someone in the service industry or someone that's helping people in the caring industry. There tends to be more humility practiced. It needs to be practiced. You see, no one's humble. No one. No one's honest. No one has faith. No one is confident. You see why? Because let's look at truth, for instance. Let's look at honesty. You can only be honest when you are honest. You don't own it. You either are honest in that moment or you decide not to be. You can only have faith when you have faith. Then it comes. You can only have courage when you are encouraged doing it.
Yeah.
Then it comes.
So
these are natural virtues. Now the virtue you just mentioned was what?
I said it's when you're being it, when you're.
Yeah, but before that, what was your question to me? When you're talking about
humility,
So humility is not something that you own. I'm humble, or it's something you've grown. It's something you practice in the moment, or not. It's a bit like a rock. When the sea comes in, it's wet. When the sea goes out, the rock is dry as a dog's bone. And so it is with the human virtues. When you're practicing them virtues, they're there. Confidence, love, faith, acceptance. When you practice it in the moment, it will be there for you. It will be there instantly. Because that's your nature. But if you don't practice it, something else will be there. And normally that's self-consciousness, believing, your mind judging you, criticizing you, living in the past, all this other stuff which brings nothing but pain, living in the past, by the way. So you live in the moment and you try, as human beings, to practice those human virtues. And hanging around Sam, hanging around people, you see that he was practicing the virtue of humility, and sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes I don't. We're not all perfect. It's just what you tend to want to practice.
Nobody's perfect, are they?
No.
The last question I got for you really is, you said something that was very interesting. Nobody becomes a diamond without being crushed. Explain more about that, please.
Well, yeah, I think that's self-evident that normally when you see people suffer, if you're suffering out there, there's a very interesting thought process that goes behind this. But if pain is inevitable, you're going to get pain in your life.
Yeah.
But suffering is optional.
Yeah.
So like you was explaining earlier with Dave Thompson, that you were in a situation where it was very painful for you, but you actually reframed the situation, and you started to laugh and feel good, and people couldn't believe you were feeling good in such a terrible situation.
No.
So
I'll control how I want to interpret.
You control how you interpret and how you feel. So that's what we're talking about. When you are in that experience of feeling good, because everybody wants to feel good, period. It's part of our makeup.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Did that answer your question?
It most certainly did.
Oh, right.
It most certainly did. Now, yeah, in fact, I've got one last thing for you, actually, is focus as well. How important is it to focus?
Absolutely, 1,000% important.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. I lived in an ashram for probably 10 years, and I meditated 8 hours a day. So I got to understand who I am.
Yeah.
I got to be with my breath and my sounds and my inner self. And that's why I can share that so deliberately and so effectively to all my clients. Because it's important for you to be able to get all... I gave a talk last week in front of 500 kids in a school, and I was just saying, I'm going to give you one word that if you practice this word, it will stop you being wealthy, famous, happy. You won't be able to celebrate much. You won't be able to give much. You won't be able to feel much. You won't be doing much at all if you practice this one word. And that word is called distraction. when we want to do something, guess what happens? Your mind comes in and wants to distract you. Oh no, well, I should go and do it. And before you know it, you're doing something else. So focus is important. Focus is your reins on this crazy wild horse we have.
It's a crazy horse sometimes.
Yeah, the mind. So what you do, you take the reins of this horse and you pull it in, and the reins is called focus. And then you can direct that horse to the direction you want to go. You don't have focus in your life, you aren't going anywhere. The horse is going to take you all over the place.
Yeah. I'm impressed actually because, you know, initially when I heard about you, I thought it was just a voice coach. You go much, much deeper than just the voice. You know, it's a much...
There's singing teachers and there's voice coaches.
Yeah.
If you want to learn to sing songs, go to Mrs. Jarvis up the road. La, 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 la. But, you know, but if you want to go on a journey and want to go down the yellow brick road to see the Wizard of Oz, I can take you down there.
You can take people down to see the Wizard of Oz, mate. Doc Voice is. How can people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch?
Just go on my website. DR Voice. That's drvoice.tv.
There we go. Are you on any social media or anything like that?
I think you see me on Facebook.
Yeah.
I had my own TV program. You see that on. If you go on YouTube, you see lots of clips of me and my TV show. Lots of different things I've done over the years and different people I've worked with.
Fantastic. Doc Voice, it has been an absolute honour and a pleasure.
And you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much.